soy el vecino.
Buenas tardes a todos.
La novia de México más guapa que nunca.
Bueno, pues we're gonna speak in English or Spanish. Yo soy Marcela Celorio, soy la Consul General de México aquí en Los Ángeles. I'm the Consul General of Mexico. And I am very happy that Vange Tapia, that she's a great ally. She has this wonderful initiative, right? Working Moms in Entertainment. And we're going to celebrate them. We're going to talk about Jolene, that I just met from Cuba, right? Jolene, Natalie, that I just met from Cuba. Jolene, la novia de México, forever, Mexico sweetheart. Angélica Vale. Y por supuesto Vange, que va a dirigir aquí. Cintia Prida, que está por allá, la directora del Centro Cultural. Gracias, Cintia. Bueno, pues es que la casa, el Consulado General es de ustedes. The Consulate General of Mexico is yours, is your home. Tu casa es mi casa.
Muchísimas gracias. Nuestra cónsul Marcela Celorio. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you so much, Mexican Consulate, for opening your doors once again. And thank you to all moms who are watching right now. Hope you ladies had a great time on Mother's Day. We have this amazing working moms in entertainment. I don't have kids on my own, but I'm a mamacita. And this event is going to be a toda madre. I hope you guys like it very much. So I'm very happy that you guys are here. How many actors do we have here? Because we have a little bit of everything. We have a couple actors, right? Okay. And they're and this is Justin Regis, that's my husband. I just have to acknowledge him that he is just like a big support for me, and he helped me set up everything sometimes as well. So thank you so much, sweetie. I know you're working next door. He's working, so he just walked in to say hi to you, ladies, and everybody. Justin, his revolutionary name is Justino Reyes. Como la rosca de Reyes, he says. Well, thank you so much. So for the people who's watching, we will read your messages later on. So please type in the comments, where are you, and all the messages you want to leave. I just want to acknowledge that when I was just sharing this event, wow, all the fans of Angélica María, they're in La Vale, in the show and everything, man, they were like, and of course the casting, actors, and everybody. Jolene also has like some people who wants to meet with her, so everybody wants to meet with them. But I just want to give a quick message in Spanish for these groups of fans of yours. One is fans Angélica María. And I think Maggie is the president. Maggie, la presidente. Qué bárbara, Maggie, muchas gracias por tu apoyo. Te mandamos un abrazo. Entonces, ¿ya la conocen, Maggie? Ya te conocen, Maggie. And also el grupo Soy Fan, Angélica María. Wow, amazing. They were just reposting and sharing, and they're going to be watching both on Instagram and Facebook. So thank you so much. And also the fans of La Vale as well. I got de todo. So I really needed to acknowledge you, La Vale fans from Brazil and from Mexico. Angélica María, Angélica Vale, you know, all the Angélicas. So let's start. So let's do this. First of all, how was your Mother's Day, ladies? What did you guys do? Because in Mexico we celebrate the 10th.
Yes.
On the 10th, but in the US wasn't on Sunday.
Well, the thing is
What
that-
did you guys do?
That's the word. They can hear me. I don't know.
Is it on or off, Luisito? ¿Quieres ver si está prendido el micrófono?
Tantos años de marquesa y no saber mover
El abanico.
Ahí está, mira.
Okay, so, no, well, the thing is that the best thing that could happen to us was moving to the US because we can celebrate Mother's Day on like the US celebration. Because my mom works every single 10 de mayo, she works. Always. So we never work together, right?
And you're here in Canal 22, right?
Yeah. We had a concert in Channel 22. Pero really, we never were able to celebrate Mother's Day together.
Because you were little, no? Or you were small, no?
She was working and then I was working and it was a mess. We always had to postpone the celebration and, I don't know, have lunch together later on or whatever. So moving to the United States was perfect because now we can celebrate like you guys normal do. And we care about Días de Mayo. Actually, we work together these Días de Mayo. That was super rare, but we celebrate both. So it was good.
That is
Yeah, it was perfect. This year was perfect.
That's one of those things, like, for instance, Thanksgiving. I never had that fight with my husband because we don't celebrate that in Mexico. So I'm just like, sure, Christmas is mine, but it's one of those celebrations. Mother's Day here is on Sunday, on Sunday, and then Mother's Day now you can do it.
Yes.
Great. So that's what you guys did.
We this year we could celebrate both dates. That's super strange because
The pandemic helped.
COVID helped. Yes.
How about you, Jolene? What do you do for Mother's Day?
I have a question. Who gets
What?
Christmas Eve?
Well, who gets Christmas Eve?
Who gets Christmas Eve?
Justin and I switch every month, every other year. One year I do it, the other year he does it.
Fair enough.
How about you? Because your husband is Rodríguez, but he was born here, right? Or how do you guys do?
He was born here, but I get all the holidays. Doesn't matter.
That's my sister. She's like, sorry, Christmas are mine, New Year's Eve is with your family. That's it. That's it. It's smart.
They're all mine. He knows.
Yeah, my arrangement was not so good.
We just went to brunch. It was lovely. I just got to hang out
You
with
went
my
to
mom and my
brunch?
kids and have brunch. Yeah.
If you follow Jolene, which you probably won't be able to because she's very protective to her privacy and is private, but she has the most musical family. Every time I see her on her stories, they're dancing, they're having fiestas. Breakfast is a fiesta.
Yeah.
It's brunch fiesta. It's
Everything has music for sure.
and you love, and she loves the baja.
Yeah.
So yeah, very.
A breakfast has music. Cleaning the house has music.
Yeah, that's great. I'm not the excellent way to do it. Yeah, that's what I do when I clean my house and play music. Normally when you have visitors.
Something cumbia or salsa, something that puts you like, yeah!
Yeah, something with much more moving thing. And how about you, Natalie? You only have one kid, right?
Yes, my son Eli, he's 9. We went to brunch and I basically told him, Mommy's not cooking, Mommy's not cleaning, don't ask Mommy to do anything. My friend Natalie came over, we had some rosé or some vino tinto and it was great. That was my perfect Mother's Day.
Don't give me an ironing board or anything.
No. There was no cooking or cleaning, there was no work for Mommy that day. That's it.
Great. I'm very happy. Well, congratulations to all of you and moms as well. So I have a question for you. Especially Angélica, you started since you've been very, I don't know if you've seen the video that she sent me for Actors Slash was hilarious. She's like, you've been my mom my whole life. And she didn't get it, but I was like, that was hilarious. But you ladies have been working since you were very young. So how is it?
2.5 years old.
She started,
5, she was 2.
and you were 5.
She was 5.
And you were 2. So what is the, I remember 2 months ago I had the Consul General, Marcela, and she's like, well, I do have a child, but this is what he got in his life. He has a working mom, and he has to go everywhere I go, and we just adjust. So how do you guys deal with that?
Well, that's exactly.
That's exactly what happened. I was going with her all over the place in a little.
And your dad was also.
Yeah, he was in the show too. So
The show.
yes, we were. No, literally, he was on the show. My parents were doing this tour together when I was born, and they were. Tú cuéntales. I was there, but I don't remember.
Let's hear the story from the point of view of the daughter.
Okay, so yes, they were touring all over Mexico, and I was with them, and they used to have a little.
Your grandmother name.
That like, tú dile. Well, I used to travel with them all the time, so I think I said. But the thing is that when I was 2 years old, you cannot tell a kid, 2-year-old kid, to do something that she or he doesn't want to do. You can't just push him into the theater or stage, and you cannot force a little kid to do anything. Actually, I was the one forcing my mom to let me go on stage because I told her, ¿ya puedes contar esa historia o no?
We were playing Daddy Long Legs, and it was a musical. And then when audience shouldn't laugh, they were laughing. I said, what's happening here? Something strange is happening here. So when I had time to go to a side and see what was happening, well, she was there at the aisle making all the parts. You know, she knew them by heart. She couldn't speak well yet, but in her, she
I
knew.
was impersonating it.
Yeah, everybody.
I want to
impersonating everyone. She knew all the dances, all the songs, and there were kids in this play, and they didn't started on time sometimes, and they were out of key. And she had 2.5 years old, and she knew all the songs, and she.
Yeah, but I told you I want to do it.
Yeah, and then I said, because no, I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to tell about the story. No, okay.
You know the mechanical part.
So I said, what are you doing here? No, what are you doing there? Come here. What are you doing there? Can I do it up there? Yes, you can. So I told everybody, careful, the company, careful, because she wants to come in.
My brother was a producer, and I had already all the costumes.
Yeah, she's
the granddaughter, so
she used to do all the play on the side, with all the costumes, just like us. Singing and dancing over there. The little girl, she was born for this.
Okay, that's her.
You have to be born for this, You just can't get there and.
But what was the case with you and your mom? Because she was also a main producer, and you were a child, 5-year-old, or what happened?
Yeah, but my grandma started after my mom did.
Yeah. I started when I was 5 years old, and then she went with me to all my calls and all that. She started to love movies. So she wanted to go to make movies, but not in front of the camera, backstage. Yeah.
She wanted to make, so she wanted to produce, because she was a producer.
She
right?
was a producer. She started like movie producer. She started like, come and get that and bring me that, Yeah, but she got to be a great movie producer. And then when we, Mexican movie, they changed a lot, and they always. Yeah, okay. Well, no, all the new things were very, So I always got cold. I didn't like to take my clothes off, So I didn't like the new scenes.
No, she didn't. No, the thing is
The new movie, the new Mexican movies during the 70s, 80s, they started to take the clothes off. And my mom, she doesn't like to take her clothes off. So they stopped doing family movies.
Right.
So they needed to evolve. So my grandma went to the theater, and then she started to write and to direct and to producing and.
Exactly. So you
But
you
my
render
mom, she went to a party, and the producer was there, and he saw her and said, "Hey, I need a boy for my new movie. You don't have a boy?" And then cut my hair. I'll be the boy. And they cut my hair, and I was Miguelito.
And that's how you got your first audition.
And that was when you were 5?
Yeah, when I was
She was
5 years
born
old.
too, otherwise you cannot push a little kid to do that. It's like,
It was my dream. I was always in front of the mirror doing, with my grandmother's fairs and my aunts and like all the actresses, we were born like crazy. Yeah, we're crazy since we're little.
Yeah, that's true, but that's fantastic. I'm very happy to hear that story. And I read also that you worked with Pedro Infante. He told you that your eyes, you were like him, that through your eyes, you talk through your eyes.
Yeah.
Which is great. How old were you when you filmed that?
There I was, 10 years old.
Amazing. A child prodigy. Excellent. So Jolene, I have a question for you. So when I met Jolene,
Because as you can see, I can talk better with my eyes than with my mouth.
So when I met Jolene, she was working in Sony Studios, and she was assistant in the Screen Gems. She came with almost her. I think you even had like your hair pulled. And I don't know if it was ponytails. She came to this. She did this premiere of someone's movie in Spanish. He came and we met, and then she was driving every day from Orange County to downtown Culver City. So that's a drive. That's a long drive, and then you have 2 kids, and then amazingly she was just escalating like in the giant steps, and then. Next thing we know, she was executive producing and doing all these things, and now we know she is the president of Broken English Productions. But that must be very tough. How long were you doing that? Like your commute every day, working, and like what time? Like you will be in downtown and at work for hours, super late at night and everything. So did you even get to see your kids during the week like that often? Or that was el esposo?
I mean, don't give him all the credit, but yeah, I guess he watched them while I was at work. No, he works too. I did it for 10 years while I was working. I mean, while I was getting paid. And for 2 years before that, I was an intern for 2 years, and I didn't get paid to drive from Orange County to Sony. But I did it for 10 years, and no, I didn't get to see them as often as I should have. And
you wanted, right?
yeah, and because it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours each way. And then some days, once I started to get in a certain place in my career, then you're having dinners Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because I needed to network and I needed to connect with the right people. And I did that for like 5 years probably. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was all worth it, and I have a supportive family, and my kids understood the mission and the goals that I had. But now I'm Broken English, and this year was the first time that I got to go to every one of my son's games, baseball games. So, and I take him to school every morning now, and I never got to do that with my daughter. She's 20 now, so she's even told him, like, you're so lucky that mama gets to like drive you to school and pick you up and go to your games and be more present. But I don't think that they hold any resentment. I think they're very pleased with their life, so.
Yeah, I'm very happy, and plus your son is also, their daughter she's just adult and beautiful. So, do you guys have like a lot of guys, galanes outside of the door, like, can I date your daughter or anything? Because she's so pretty, and your son, he's tremendous.
She has a boyfriend. So, I mean, I'm sure
She's
there's lots of
taken
guys that like
already.
her. Yeah, she has a boyfriend, a serious boyfriend, and my son's 14, so he doesn't have he better not have a girlfriend. But he's a handsome dude, and I think he'll have lots of girls. But as long as they're not clingy and annoying, I think I'll be fine with it.
That's
He doesn't
true.
like that either sometimes.
He doesn't like that?
He doesn't like clingy either, so it works out. Like, I mean, I told him, if you bring a girl home and she's clingy, that's gonna annoy the shit out of me. And I'm not gonna like her. And then he says, oh, well, Mama, I'm not gonna like her either if she's like that. So we like her a lot.
And now with Broken English Productions, you have more flexibility because you work. The pandemic was, of course, it's terrible, it's still terrible, but also kind of like brought us together. And my husband works from home, so now I get to see my husband more time. That's cool, right? Like you do a lot of your meetings probably from home, and especially not when you have to do editing or anything like you were doing right now. But it's not so bad. I mean, it was just like bringing us all together. So I'm happy to see.
It was cool. I mean, because I got to see my kids and my husband more. But then sometimes I would like lock myself in the car and hide from them and cry. And then they would knock on the window. I'd be like, I'm crying because of you guys. And yell.
I'm taking a break.
Yes.
Well,
It was all love.
I'm gonna bring your kids to interview them once.
Interview them.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
See how's the mom. Let's do a Zoom thing like, one day and see what they
But
have to
see
say.
what they have to say. Mateo's the more witty, funny one, and Jillian would just be like very dry. It'll be interesting. I would like to see that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do a Zoom thing with mamas and then.
And their kids.
Like, what do you have to say about? But yeah, I'm very happy that you are now more connected with your kids.
Natalie over here, she was the makeup artist on my last movie last summer, and she knows I'm a boss.
That's good. Yeah, they
She's
just
like, what the
like reconnected. She came with Natalie, so it's great. Very good. And Natalie, yours, it's just he's the only one. I just see tons of pictures. You spend as much time as you can with him, and which is very cool to see. Is like your priority, of course. How is it when you have like a giant campaign or things when you were working on studio, because you were with what, ABC?
I was at CBS at the network.
CBS?
Mhm.
And that must be probably like you have to be here, more demanding.
Well, I was at CBS for a few months before the pandemic started, so I think my casting career before CBS was even harder because I was working on so many projects at once and I would barely see my son. So when I went to CBS, that's where I actually had to get a nanny and everything was starting to happen like that. And then the pandemic happened, and then I was seeing my son a lot. I also was not just an executive, I was a first grade teacher, which was a lot for me to handle. And it was very stressful for that first year that he was basically doing online school. When he went back to school, things calmed down a lot, but I think the silver lining of the pandemic is that I actually get to see my son every day and pick him up from school, which is something I never got to do before, and I love working from home. I mean, I wish I was around my business partner, Alan Luna's here with me, and I wish we could be in the same room more often, because it's so much easier. But I love that I can build my own schedule now, and I know that we can't have meetings from 2 to 3 o'clock because I need to go and get them, and I sort of work my schedule around. And there are times where obviously there's exceptions. We have things to do. We have sessions or, an important meeting or something that we need to sort of reorganize the day. And then my ex-husband, he sometimes helps during the week, but mostly he's the weekend dad. But I basically, I'm the gem of this whole situation is that I get to really enjoy my son, which is something I kind of, I grew up with 2 working parents and I barely saw them. And I thought, well, I guess I'm going to do the same thing to my kid. And now it's like, now I get to actually go to his baseball games as well, which has been very intense this season. And I get to just be more involved. And that's also the beauty of being my own boss. Again, I love my job at CBS, but I'm really happy to be doing what I'm doing now.
That's actually awesome. And now your business partners, do they live near you or no?
Not at all. They're on the other side of town.
It's Zoom.
It's Zoom and calls and texts and driving him crazy FaceTimes. That's basically it.
That's actually pretty good. So I do have an idea on now. Are we going to go back to normal, or we are already like this sort of normal, or we're just adjusting? What do you guys think? How it's going to be now with work and family? Yeah, we can start with you and then go back.
Okay. In terms of casting,
Work and family.
Work, yeah,
Do you think
work
it's
and
going to be
family.
more like eventually going to have a physical address?
I think that it depends on your role, your position, and some people have gone back to their offices, but I think there's less, I think it's more of a hybrid situation for a lot of people too. I kind of miss being in an office sometimes, but it really just depends on your role. For us, all of our stuff is, I mean, we were already going into more self-tapes before the pandemic. Now it's all self-tapes and Zoom sessions. There's a rare occasion that you might get a chemistry read in person, but there's so many hurdles to go through with Screen Actors Guild to do those in-person auditions. I think it's more for commercials that they do it. For us, we do sessions with producers and directors on Zoom all the time, and it's become the norm. And you know,
Actors
now
send
it's
their
working.
self-tapes?
Yeah, I mean, but we were seeing a lot of self-tapes even before the pandemic, but now it's like just brutal self-tape. It's just self-tapes all day. Yeah.
Easier.
Hmm?
That's much easier.
It's good and bad. It has its advantages are that you don't have to drive somewhere. You don't have the stress of going into a room with a casting director or a director or producers. We get to see a lot more people, which we didn't get to do when we only had 2 or 3 hours a day to see actors. The disadvantage is that you're not in the room with the casting professional, and you don't get that instant feedback and the redirection, and we miss being around actors. I miss being able to
And
sort of,
actors, we miss that too.
yeah, feeling the vibe when they come in the room and getting to know them a little bit better, and you know, so we try to take generals and sort of get to know actors a little bit better. But I don't see us quickly going back to being in sessions in person. I wish we could. I wish we could do it at least some of the time, but it's just not a good idea yet.
Right. And then when you do callbacks, that's when you get to talk to your few, the ones who made it. Do you feel that you can, again, feel the actors better a little bit?
Somewhat. It's better than not. It's at least we have them there live. Inevitably, there's a technical problem somewhere along the line. Someone's internet goes out, something happens. But at least we have the director sort of able to, you know, give them adjustments, see how they take direction. The producers are on there. It can be pretty daunting though, because an actor can come on a Zoom, and if you're on a Zoom with executives and all their cameras are off, you just see a bunch of little boxes, and you don't know if they're paying attention, if they're looking at you, who you're auditioning for. I'm sure it's a little overwhelming in another way, but in some ways it's probably easier than walking into I don't know if any of the actors here have had to do any like studio or network tests. That's also very scary because you're walking in there and executives are on their phones and they're sort of paying attention, and you're in and out. It's a whole other.
Remember that scene in
sensation.
La La Land when she's doing her scene and then someone's like, here, someone is calling you, and like, totally interrupt her. She was totally crying and nailing it, and then, oh yeah, I'll be done in like 2 minutes? No, less, 30 seconds. That's horrible. Yeah, he does have that.
I've never seen an executive do that, but I don't know. Maybe in other rooms, it can be it's pretty fast. You're in and out. But
So when you have this amount of job, what do you do with your son? Is this when?
Well, he's at school most of the day, and the summer's going to be a different situation. But he's at school, and then I pick him up, and he's got online tutors. Sometimes I take him to drum class on Wednesdays, or he's got baseball practice or something. So I sort of build my schedule around him, or I get some help wherever I can. Sometimes from my ex-husband, you know, so he'll pick him up on Fridays, and then I have, you know, a little bit more breathing room to be able to do stuff.
Well, that's good to know. That's good. So Jolene, Broken English is relatively new. It's now, what is it, 2 years now?
Yeah,
In no office yet?
never.
No? So to get to you, or to get to the production, is there a website or anything? Or it's pretty much referrals, or how is it?
IMDb, Google,
IMDb.
LinkedIn, Instagram. Just don't Instagram my kids, but yeah. Instagram my kids. You'd be surprised.
They won't. They have to get through you, and believe me, there's like bodyguards on Instagram right there. So it won't happen. So do you think you're gonna have an office anytime soon, what do you think? Or how do you think it's gonna go back to what we thought, like, or if you have to have an in-person meeting, you just guys rent a place or go to a studio? How do you do it?
No, real quick, what she was talking about as far as chemistry reads and all those things. Me, when I was an executive at Sony, people would come in for generals, and I would connect with them, not most, I should say like a handful, and I could feel their good energy, their positivity, and all those things, and just their nervousness sometimes, whatever it is. And like Lisa Vidal, who is an amazing actress, she came into my office, and we became friends instantly. Her energy was amazing. She's a good person. You just feel it. You just know. And she's one of the ones that was like, these chemistry reads are killing me. She's like, I'm not getting the same thing like through a camera. Like I need to be in the room, especially someone like her who's so good in the room. Because most actresses, like, well, the good ones, they're amazing in the room, right? If you suck, and I apologize, but like, and you probably like the Zoom better, maybe, I don't know, but because you're less nervous, I don't know, but the people who you can feel, you just know. You just know. Carlos Moreno's another one. Like, there's just people who, I'm like, we're gonna work together. Like, you have good energy, you're like, you don't want to work with shitty people.
And that is true. Like a lot of the people that Jolene used to allow me to bring a bunch of people to Sony and do mixers on Thursdays, was it? It was like the happy hour, and gosh, I think it would be like 30, 40 people every time, or 50. It will be from actors to producers to directors, everything. And she will spend the time in talking to them. And it created a lot of good relations. Like you've been connecting with a lot of people, and they have been connected with Jolene. And that is true. It happened because we weren't pushing it. It was more like a friendship. Like sometimes I remember the power went off in that restaurant, or they closed or something.
Yeah.
And my husband and Julio.
Yeah.
And then your husband probably, they went to get chelas across the street. And
They were getting alcohol and like chips and stuff across the street because something happened.
And we were doing like a talent show right there.
Yeah.
And characters. And it's just really that fun.
It's like Pancho. Pancho is a composer on my film right now, and I met him because of you.
That
So,
much.
like,
He was a panelist here, right?
Yeah, he was on a panel, but it's like if you make an impression on me, I'll find a way to work with you, you know. And I wouldn't get that through Zoom or over the phone. Like I'm better in person. But to answer your question, I'm never gonna have an office. I'm gonna work from home forever. If you want to meet, we can have coffee somewhere, or we'll have lunch somewhere. I'll cook for you. Come to my house, we can have dinner.
I miss my lunches with you because
Come to
I
my
think
house,
it's
we'll
over
have dinner
city.
at my house. I'll cook for you.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, constant. You guys are, it's on record. It's on tape. Plus, I need to see a movie. I watch a movie that you said.
I told you to come over whenever you want.
Yeah, okay. I'm bringing the Agustino Reyes and the chelas. We'll make a party there.
I'll hire a DJ if you come over, okay?
Yeah. So what are you ladies working on right now? Like, I want to see these two, I insist. I want them. So Angélica has a daughter. How old is your daughter? Angélica, daughter, has a daughter. Angélica Vale, she has a daughter.
Yes, thank you.
And imagine the talent that she inherited. I mean, I can already tell.
I hope so. Wait, I hope so. I really hope so.
And I've seen her in videos sometimes because they do have a channel that is called Angélica Vale, right?
Yes.
YouTube. And then where you can see how the little girl develops and the pictures and everything. I love how she raises her eyebrow. But she is into acting and she wants to break into acting. So we're gonna hook her up, right? Right, Natalie?
Exactly.
So,
Before the pandemic, she came. She was 7, and she told me, "Mom, I need an agent." And I'm like, "Why?
She knows what she wants.
Why you need an agent for?" Because she always told me that she wanted to be a movie director. And I was like, "Perfect. You go to USC to save a lot of money for that. But you go to USC, and let's see what happens later, right?" No. 7 years old, she gets this idea to start her acting career. And I was like, "But why you want to be an actor?" Because I'm going to understand actors when I get to direct them.
she's right.
That's what she
She was
said.
an actress. She was an actress before.
That's what she told me, 7 years old. Of course, the pandemic came, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have some time to organize
Some break.
my life. Some break. Yes. And then, of course, the pandemic, well, it's almost over, I hope. And then she was like, "Okay, Mom, so where's my agent?" And I was glad that you didn't forget. And I recognize that she is totally crazy as me, as my mom. She has it in her blood. I mean, I can.
It's a need.
I know exactly. And she's asking for it. And I'm sure if she talks by herself in the mirrors or anywhere, and she repeats like all actors we do.
All day long.
My husband already knows that I talk by myself as well, and I do my little. I'm certain that yes.
And she knows Hamilton by heart. Hamilton, and she knows Cats, and she knows.
Yeah.
So I sent her a giant list, but I don't think you have even gone through.
You sent me a giant list, but I had to go to Miami to work in a project, so I went back. I'll promise on Monday I'm gonna call you. No, I'm kidding. But I'm gonna call the list. I promise.
But I told her you also have to apply as a mom, guys. Who doesn't know her? I mean, really. She's one of the greatest comedians that we have right now for years.
She's gonna be my manager.
All my friends tell me, you shouldn't be an actor, you should be a manager. I mentioned with Actor Slash, and I'm like, no. But that's the idea with Actor Slash. We have to help each other. But I think she's very talented, like the mom. And I think, imagine to see them, the three of them together on something. I don't know, or just Angélica.
They have no imagination. No? We should really
Right.
put together a lot of projects.
Yes,
Only
they
that they
do.
don't think about it.
Well, that's the idea of Actor Slash. That we write and produce our
When we made Ugly Betty, the Mexican version, everybody was the part of the mother didn't exist. The character didn't exist. It was only 3 scenes there, and they had to add because there was something when we were together.
And people want to see them together. Imagine with their daughter. And say we don't have anything or there's nothing for the 3 of you, but I honestly want to see them. When was the last time we saw you acting? In
La Fea.
Well, yeah, I become a mom, and I really wanted it to have that time that my mom couldn't have with me because she was touring all the time. I grew up with my grandma, with my mom too, because she was always there. But I mean, she wasn't. Yeah, she was working. So I grew up with my grandma. I love you.
Thanks God, because my mother was great.
I love you, but I really wanted to have that with my kids.
Right.
So that's why I stopped. That's why I did a telenovela in Televisa like 4 years ago. And really I was like, this is not worth it. I mean, I love you, Televisa, thank you. But it wasn't worth it. Because I stopped seeing my kids for 6 months. I had to go to Mexico. Angie totally went insane. Angie's my daughter. She went like,
Another Angélica?
Another, of course, another Angélica. En México me matan si no le pongo Angélica. I had to. But she just told me, Mom, you cannot leave me like that anymore. I need you. She was
I need her.
I need
you
you.
invite me to your house too.
Of course, yeah. I cook for you too. You're all invited to my house. I can cook for everyone. I'm Mexican, I'm telling you. But really, she told me, Mom, I need you. Please don't go away anymore. So I had to stop doing telenovelas. I had to stop doing.
And the telenovelas in Mexico is not like 8 hours. And
Oh,
we spend Monday to Friday. And like,
no.
Not even in Miami.
Not even in Miami. It's horrible. It's Monday to Saturday.
No union, let's say.
No union. 15 hours per day. Around that. I mean, it's horrible. No season, just one straight 6 months telenovela. It's like, really, guys? Yeah, it's really, well, La Fea fue año y medio. Yeah, no, it's really hard. And I really wanted to have time with my kids.
Them, you took the break.
Yes, that's why I took a break from novelas. So I do little things here and there that are not that complicated.
So let's go through the last thing and then move it to questions, because everybody, I'm sure you have questions, and I promised these ladies that I will let them go early so they can go have dinner with their families and your friends or whatever. But
She's right?
I have a dinner after this.
Okay.
yeah, she.
Here? Okay.
No,
Yeah, she's like if I'm going there and I'm gonna need a passport, might as well just make an event, a party, or a plan there. Yeah.
Yeah, good planner.
Where are we going? Are we all going? No.
Isla something?
No, don't even say it because you're gonna get a lot of people.
I mean, you guys can go. It's,
Everybody's gonna go like, oh, I just saw you.
they have live music tonight. It's a Cuban restaurant called, so please hold, I'm going to Yelp right now.
Oh, no.
Isla Cuban.
Where is that exactly? No.
Sorry. Like that coffee I spilled on myself earlier.
No.
Don't worry.
Hurry.
Don't worry. You have to go to my
I
house.
want the Dominican, is Cicely here? Is she here yet?
Is
She's
it
late?
still here?
No? They have this Dominican cheese that's fire. That's what I want. If you guys can do that,
Dominican, what? Cheese?
Yeah.
yeah, but then you can't get it here. You have to like fucking ship it in from New York or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know.
That I want.
I was in Miami for 2 months.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I want to know about the place.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The cheese? Anyone? No? Okay,
Yes,
cool.
I do.
It's the
Because your husband is.
No, my husband is Cuban, not Dominican. But
That's
I was
another
in
idea.
Miami for 2 months working with Puerto Ricans and Dominicans.
Dominicans and everything.
Why we have that like forever.
Yeah, that's it. So, what are you ladies up to right now? I know Angélica María, Mama, she was in, you were filming something like two months ago, something. And also Mauricio Ockman, who has been my slasher, and he was invited here in Actors Slash before. He has like 4 projects, and one of them with a very different of me, Pitipol Ibarra, toda padre. You were in a movie with Mauricio.
December.
In December. You have a lot going on.
Un padre no tan padre.
But
Una Navidad no tan
Una
padre.
Navidad no tan padre.
Yeah, and well, I started singing in the 60s when I was 17 years old, and I still sing. I go now with the rockers of those times, and we all go together and sing, and that's what I'm doing now. Shows
Wait.
and we are rehearsing our new show together.
When is that?
But yeah, live performance.
When are we expecting that?
Not soon.
Not sure. But you will let me know.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll let you know, that's for sure.
So you know where to follow them.
Yeah.
Angélica María original, Angélica Vale original.
Ya no había otro hijo.
No había otra Angélica. So how about you, Angélica Vale? Tengo que decir Vale. I have to say Vale to distinguish them.
I have a radio show here in LA from 5 a.m.
Cali what? Tell us.
Cali 93.9 from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. every single day.
Good Lord. So you go to bed at what time?
Around 7:30. That's why I need to hurry. I'm kidding. That's Friday. But no, really. And I do the radio show. I just finished Tu Cara Me Suena on Univision. And I think I'm going to have good news for TV again, but just in the fall. And that's it. With the radio and my kids and my husband. That's it. I'm done.
Good.
And my daughter, that she wants to be an actor now.
We'll see her, you'll see. Like really, look her up. She's a doll. She's so cute. Jolene, what are you up to now? You and the production, Broken English, what are you working on?
We're finishing up we're mixing today for our film, Righteous Thieves. It's a heist movie, action heist movie. I will show you guys a trailer, but I know you guys are going to record it, so I'm not going to do that because you guys will be taking pictures and get me in trouble. But that's what I'm working on right now. We have a few things going. The owner of the company, he's making something in Mexico with Karima Lozano. That's why I was saying we should bring her.
She's been before.
Yeah.
In my first panel.
I didn't realize that she wasn't even going to be here when I told you. She was like, Jolene, I'm shooting the movie that you put me on.
And you book her.
I know, I forgot.
Plus, I also brought her to Sunny. That was the last time I saw her. I haven't seen her in a long time.
Yeah.
So you have this movie in post-production and then this movie about to be shot.
It's not mine though, that's the owner's movie. But yeah, they're making movies in Mexico and I'm making movies here. And I think a Christmas ensemble next.
So keep an eye, you guys. Broken English Productions is like kicking ass. And you know which one I would love to see? The one from Omar Chaparro.
June 3rd.
June 3rd.
June 3rd on Amazon.
On Amazon? Okay. Well, send it to me and I'll share it on Actor Slasher Connected Slashers. He's the funniest guy.
We love him.
Oh my God.
Very serious. We have a good
The
Yeah.
boxing drama person.
Really?
Yeah, he's not funny at all, but it's serious.
He could be both serious and he could be funny. Both.
I love Superman.
How about you, Natalie?
Hi, well, we're working on a few things. We have a movie that we're working on right now with Mucho Mas Productions called The Long Game. It's about the Mustang Miracle, based on the book Mustang Miracle. We're doing that with the same team that we worked with on Blue Miracle. It was on Netflix. So Julio Quintana is directing, Dennis Quaid.
Colombia in Texas.
Yes. Jay Hernandez, yes, thank you, Jay Hernandez, who's also our executive producer. So we're in the thick of that one, trying to close that one up. We're doing a few animated shorts for HBO, and we're hopefully starting a really big movie soon, but can't really say much, but it's a big biopic, so we're excited about that. So there's a lot of stuff happening, and then and we're also doing a short with Macro, with Tic Tac and Macro, have an initiative with African American producers, and we're doing one of their shorts right now as well. So it's a beautiful piece. So we just started working on that. Am I missing anything, Alan? Because there's always a bunch of stuff that's like in the works, but
And I'm sure you can
better track
tell
tonight.
all of them, but
So that's it.
We have a lot of actors here. Natalie, I'm sorry, that we have more casting directors. I can see another Olivas right there. That's cool. And Sergio, he casted me for something in Telemundo. So that's cool. We have casting directors here, which is great. Actors. How can actors normally see auditions? You guys share a lot of things, and there's a lot of referrals. Like we were talking, TJ was one of my panelists here, and then I had another guest sitting next to TJ, and he suggested it for this movie, and he's fantastic. But like, how can actors approach casting directors if they don't have an agent or the agent doesn't move them often? Is there a way, or you prefer to do it through Actors Access or casting?
Well, what I really don't recommend is stalking me on social media, because that drives me insane. We have our company social media, which is ABL Casting.
Which one is? So you can
ABL Casting.
ABL Casting.
I think it's hard if you can do some sort of showcase. If you have a casting director workshop, like let's say if there's, and make sure it's a legitimate workshop, because some of those cannot be sometimes, but I think that it's gotten a lot more secure, and a lot of them are virtual. But if you have an opportunity like that where you can meet a casting director and get to know them, we rarely have an occasion where we have anything general, where we get to meet actors like this. And we rarely put stuff on Actors Access unless, for example, we're casting kids and we need to throw the net a little wider and see who else is out there. Most of the stuff we do, unless it's a short film, we put, through the breakdowns that go to agents and managers. But often, I do panels and different workshops once in a while. Someone from our office usually will, so that's always a good chance for us to see your work. I teach as well. I teach audition technique.
That's true. That's a great way so you can feel them.
It fills up pretty fast, and I do it just once a month. And I used to teach in Spanish, but I haven't had as much. I just haven't had the energy to really promote it, to be honest, because it's just been so.
Let me know, and I'll gladly
thank
share
you.
it.
Thank you. Yeah, but that's always a good way for me to get to see actors. We did do a really huge casting for, well, it's now Warner Brothers Discovery, but at the time it was Warner Media when we were doing it, for their showcase, which is called the Talent Spotlight, and we had 7,000 auditions come in, 2,000 callbacks.
Did you really see all of them?
Not by myself, but
I mean, the whole team?
Yeah, our whole team, yeah, and we got to see a lot of non-union actors that we normally wouldn't see, and it was just amazing. A lot of actors, we focus on underrepresented groups, but we ended up with 20, and they shot the Spotlight a few weeks ago here in LA, and it's an incredible cast, and we're really excited about it. So those are also great opportunities as well. It's hard when you don't have representation, but really the key is to focus on on doing whatever work you can, you know, like sometimes, you know, when you're starting out student films, a lot of these thesis films, they're quality, they have decent budgets for a short film. So it's always good to be on Actors Access and see what breakdowns are coming out and building your reel little by little that way, you know, and then putting that in front of agents and managers when sometimes they'll have certain days where you know you can submit through their website. Every office is kind of different. If you have friends who have reps that they really like working with, you know, see if they are able to help you get a meeting. But it is a tricky situation because, you know, it's like you can get work if you have a rep, but you need a rep to get work. So it's, you know, it's always a catch-22.
But it also happens that many times you just find someone referred you, or they saw you, as you said. You probably know, but downstairs there's a movie theater with 71 seats, I think. And I have invited a lot of people to come and screen their films. Juliana here, she's an actress from Colombia, and she screened her whole movie that she actually produced. She's a truly actor slasher. And I have another actor behind that I had the pleasure to produce, to direct those two, Raúl and Antonio. It's just that sometimes he goes by Johnny, but I directed him. And the thing is, we can showcase. We have also a director, Luisiga. I mean, we have a lot of people here, which is great. And the Consulate opens their doors to all of you. So just sign up to their events, sign up to Actors Slash, and then find out. I get a lot of directors who always ask me, Vange, can you suggest someone? And I give them tons of, I'm not even a casting director, it's just, I always give them like lists of actors that I think I suggested those guys do as well, and they booked it. And so, I mean, I think follow the communities that can help you. That will be a great way. So let's go to the questions so we can go soon. So does anybody have questions? I'm sure you do. And you came, a lot of questions. Raise your hand, anyone. I will be very surprised if you guys don't have questions, because then we can just keep talking. What is it?
Only 3 questions.
Yeah, so choose wisely. Only good questions. What is your name?
Paloma, gracias por el Spanish. Soy yo, Angélica María. Un honor. Gracias. Angélica, si le podría dar un consejo a esa niña que comenzó su carrera cuando tenía 5 añitos, le había dado somos creyentes.
I'm going to repeat the question. So she's asking, like, if she's asking to Angélica María if she could give an advice to her 5-year-old self, what would that be?
Te vas a encontrar muchas montañitas que tienes que trepar, pero trépalas todas hasta que logres lo que quieres.
Oh, that's okay. So she's going to find a lot of skills. She's going to have to climb to it. Perfect. ¿Alguien más? Silvia, querida.
Hola, Angélicas. For you both, I was so lucky to be in Mexico City when everything was happening. You just mentioned about Papacito Piernas Largas. I was there with my parents and it was amazing. We were there to see Angélica María, of course, but we all were distracted by the side. And we were
there?
I was there.
You kidding?
Yes.
How old were you? You were like a little, how can you remember?
I was
You were
a
like
baby.
super young.
I was super young. No, I was a baby, really. I was there with my parents. And it was amazing to see you, Angélica Vale, doing perfect. Really, you got our hearts. And we love you, Angélica Vale. That night was of Angélica Vale. It was adorable. She was so adorable.
I
It
like
was
seeing
like,
pictures. Can we see any videos or anything? Did you guys record it?
We're trying to say, we're trying to get all those videos back because. Ay, si supieran las broncas en México. Pero yes, we're trying to get all those videos. We'll try.
yeah, and congratulations. It was with Gustavo Rojo, Guillermo Murray, all the cast. But that night was your night, Angélica Vale. That was really good.
And that's how your big break, right?
Yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, and after that, big fan of you.
Raúl.
Well, I know Angélica and Angélica Vale since long time ago. I used to be a good friend of David Rodrigo and Jorge Rosete.
Oh my gosh.
So I am a good friend of Roberto Sánchez Tocolada. all of you guys, and me, your mom, I went to your house so many times, and I hope you don't remember me. But I mean, for me, she is the greatest actress in the whole world.
She is.
And Ernesto Alonso, one time, talking with Ernesto Alonso in Ernesto's house, he said, I haven't seen any big star like Angélica María. He said that. And coming from Ernesto Alonso, yeah, I mean, you are the best. Thank you.
¿Tienes una pregunta, Antonio?
Yes, the question is actually for Ms. Rodríguez and Ballesteros,
Jolene.
executive producers. I've seen a lot of casting calls asking for actors that have to be vaccinated and boosted. And obviously, there's a big range of people who are against it, others for it. What do you think is going to be the case coming after the pandemic with that? Is that going to be something that's going to be set in stone? Is it going to be some sort of bias?
It's going to be production and production. So if I'm the producer of the film, then it's up to me to do that. I'm an indie producer, so studio will be different. Studio will probably require it. But independent producers, you can do whatever you want. So it's up to us if we want to do that or not do that. I won't do that. I'm not going to not give someone a job because they're not vaccinated. But that's not everyone else. I don't know. I'm going to speak for myself.
How about you, Natalie?
Well, in casting, it's up to the producers, obviously. Most of the projects we've worked on have required vaccinations. I can see in the future things getting a little more loosened up, but testing is, I think, going to definitely still be part of the process for a long time, whether you're vaccinated or not. So I think, you know, the reality is that someone gets sick, it can shut down the production. That's a lot of money, and it's a huge nightmare for everyone. So, you know, again, I don't think people should be denied work, but the reality is, you know, at least the testing part of it needs to continue to be part of productions, you know, having the COVID compliance for a while, because we're not going to get rid of this. It's going to be different, you know, variations, and maybe not as virulent, but it's still going to be part of our lives, I think, for a while, unfortunately.
And speaking of that, I'm going to go with questions in a moment, but when we're done, we all going to put our masks on back, because I know you guys might want to have some pictures, so please don't ask my panelists to remove their masks for the picture, because they won't. Just so you know, please, and don't take it personal, but we are not going to take our masks off. Just wanted to let you know, I want to keep it safe. So Prakriti Maduro, she's an actress slasher and a great actress from Venezuela. Like, she was my panelist in December, and well, I mean, you should see her work, amazing. Prakriti, do you have a question?
Yes, it's a silly question, because after that presentation I feel like, oh. For Natalie, because COVID mood, do you think that's gonna keep going, the auditions, like just self-tape? Because since pandemic, I never came back to an audition room. It's gonna be
and I haven't either.
long-term situation.
Yeah, I think only time's gonna really tell. I think eventually, hopefully, we get to do things in person more, but this is very efficient as well for us. We get to see more actors than we used to. So I don't see it really changing anytime soon. Even the acting studio where I teach, I asked, you know, if people are vaccinated and we do testing, are we going to go back in person? And they said no. And they do commercials in that studio. So they've been slowly doing stuff in person, but I don't foresee this changing anytime soon. Not unless the numbers drastically just start to go away. I think it's going to be like this for a bit. And it's, you know, it's amazing how things have worked. Like when I was at CBS and the pandemic first happened, there was always fear, like, how are we gonna do our shows? Are we gonna have shows in the fall? Like, what are we gonna do? And it's amazing how we were able to adapt as an industry and make it happen. And I think that now we've gotten accustomed to this, and we don't have to rent offices and spend money on unnecessary things. I think it's probably going to be like this for a while.
So I have a question. The lady with the pink, super cool pink hair. You can get up if you want.
Have a follow-up. Hi. Also an actress.
Veronica, right?
Veronica, yes.
Good to see you.
We've seen each other.
Yes.
I have a follow-up question with that. Because the self-tape has been also efficient for us. Like once we got to, having a system in our own setup. But I'm wondering about whether you lose something with the chemistry in the room and the actor, or is that something that doesn't really affect anything?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for myself, because my background was in acting when I was younger, and I also directed in New York. When I moved to LA and I started getting into casting, the one thing that I loved was being able to give adjustments when when actors are auditioning, and to see how they take the direction, because that's indicative of how they're going to work on set. Because if they're not doing it in the room, then and I can still do that on a Zoom session. Directors will do it on we have our callbacks and give them notes and they rework it. But there's something about being able to just be in the spot and give the notes. So when I'm watching all these self-tapes, the first thing I think is, God, if they just did this differently. And I don't have the time to be emailing every single agent and be like, can your client please retape? There are certain occasions where, yes, if it's someone I really like and I think that they're going to be great for the role and I can have them retape, I will, and I'll give them notes. But I can't sit there with 300 auditions and write notes for everybody. So I miss that, the immediacy, I don't know if that's a word, the immediate ability to just give a direction, have them do the scene again. That, and also just the human contact of getting their energy. Is this person do they bring in a good energy, or do they come in the room, they're kind of cocky and I don't really like their vibe? I mean, which won't take away someone's ability to get a job, but you have to discuss it, right? You have to think about it. So there's so many things that are missed. But then again, you don't have to drive across town, you don't have to sit in a waiting room for an hour, freaking out, waiting for your audition. When you go in for 2 minutes, you don't have to worry about how's their reader going to be. I don't know if their reader's going to be any good. There's so many different things that are positive about it as well. And you get to be in your own space, comfortable, do as many takes as you want. So, there's always good things and bad things for every side of it.
Hi, I have a question. It's a little bit uncomfortable maybe because of the topic, but I think it's important. Do you feel like producers or people in the industry push aside a woman that has kids? Like they think, I have 2 actresses, are amazing, but this one has little kids, and it's going to be a problem. Maybe it's not going to be focused or something, or the other one doesn't have kids, maybe she's going to be present all the time. And do you feel that resentment a little? Because I heard some actresses saying like, oh, I don't want to say I have little kids because they won't give me preference. How do you feel that? Okay.
I already do it.
I mean, I'll let Jolene speak to that as well, but I've never, it's never been an issue with a director or producer I've worked with. We've never, in fact, I'd probably like you more if you have kids because I can empathize, you know what I mean? So no, I've never, I mean, maybe in the olden days when it was a boys club and there was just men running the show, maybe things were a little different, but no, I don't even know if you have kids. It's not my business to know if you have kids. And if you have kids and you get the job, then it's up to you to make sure that your kids are cared for when you're working. That's up to you. But I've never seen that happen, to be honest. Yeah, because that would be a big problem for me. And I think about that sometimes too as a mom. I think, should I tell, I can't. I had a producer call me and it was exactly 7:50 in the morning when I'm walking my kid into school and I was like, should I tell him where I am? And I said to him, I was like, Harris, I'm dropping my son off. I have to call you back in 10 minutes. Is that okay? But something in my brain was like, maybe I shouldn't tell him that I can't, that I can't do this because I have to take care of my kid. But the job's going to get done. I may be watching self-tapes till 2 in the morning, which will happen, but the job's going to get done. So how I conduct my business is my business. So if you have 5 kids and you still want to audition for me, come and audition,
And Jolene, you were going to say something?
I was going to say that most people, if you're smart, you'll research me and then you talk about your kids and try to connect with me on that level. Seriously, it works. I can't speak for men, that's different, because they usually have wives at home that take care of the kids. So it's different for me, like I'm a mom and I get it done just fine.
Yeah, and as a mom, if you hear something like that, like I don't care. But you know what? I do have a friend actress who turned down a role in last minute because she wanted to take care of her daughter.
That's different.
So she went through the whole process and all that. So probably that wasn't cool on her side. Like, if you know you're not gonna do it, then don't apply for it. But it was all the way around. Another question, anyone?
Hi, my name is Luis Alberto. It's off topic. This is for Angélica María. Huge fan of the family, huge fan. Just a silly question. You know, I know you worked with Armando Manzanero early on in your career. Is there any song you ever go back and think, you know what, I did that one better than the other interpretations that you've heard since?
Jolene te está pasando el micrófono.
Ay, sí, la de no la canta precioso.
Sí, I love that.
No. They all sound beautifully. No.
Nah, esa sí la canta.
No.
Yo sí lo puedo decir, la canta mejor que yo.
Okay, 2 more questions and that's it. This lady right here.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias por venir. Están hermosas. So thank you so much. Jolene, this is for you. What does Broken English have a mandate for the projects they're looking for? Like, what are you drawn to at the moment? Are you looking?
My slate's pretty full right now, but anything, I don't want it to be Latino. I just want it to be a movie.
Wait, can you repeat that?
I just want it to be a movie. Like, we just did an action heist movie, it's just a movie. And then I cast it with Latinos. So then I just, give me a horror film, a thriller, a suspense movie, whatever, action heist, whatever it is. I don't think romantic comedies are really big right now. I love romantic comedies, but I probably wouldn't make one right now. I mean, maybe I would. I guess it depends. Depends how good that script is. But I'm trying to be more selective on what I'm doing. So probably a thriller is what I'm looking for right now.
Do you have a Jolene from development in this production company?
No, I wear all the hats.
So all referrals, they have to have a connection with someone.
Yeah.
You do everything now, almost.
Not by choice, but yeah.
Who was it?
That was the last one. Okay, one more.
Yeah, one more, and we need just the picture of us here, and this is the last one. Sorry.
Hello everybody, my question is for the producers. How do you guys see the future of the actors, the Latino actors in Hollywood? Because it's always the gardener, it's always the maid and stuff like that. How do you guys see the future of this new people who wants to make it in Hollywood? Because I know Univision is there, but like Hollywood is different.
I love her. I don't know her, but I love her. I won't say.
Ay, perdón, es muy mal educada.
I actually do the opposite. If it's a bait, I want to cast a white person, just because it's never done. But I don't cast like that. I don't cast my movies like I don't need to have gardeners in my movie. You're talking to the wrong person. There's no Caucasians up here, so I can't answer that question now.
A lot of the projects, not all the projects that we work on, but a lot of them have predominantly Latino casts. So for us, we don't really cast the gardener role. We're casting like the leads, hopefully who are Latino. But I can tell you that the industry has progressed incrementally, but it is getting better. When I was at CBS, there was a mandate to make sure that our writers' rooms, that behind the camera there was a certain percentage of people of staff that were people of color, as I call them, or from a minority group, underrepresented group. For us, we are always constantly looking out for the content that we involve ourselves with. I can tell you I've turned down projects because I don't want, I'm Latina and I don't want Latino people being exploited or portraying those roles. So it comes from different levels, right? It's from the development, like what projects are being developed. Are they focused more on Is it a Latino-driven cast? Are there, are there people of color in the cast? What kind of content is being developed? Is it a show that's going to be successful, or is it another show that is going to continue the same narrative? And I think that more importantly, my job as a casting director, when I'm confronted with a producer or a director who needs to be educated, I'm the one who sometimes says, well, why don't we think outside the box a little bit, and how can, does this have to be a Caucasian person? I feel like we barely even get to cast Caucasian roles. Like, we're working a movie now, and most of the bad guys are the Caucasian roles. So it's really about what are we working on, what's being developed more than anything, because unfortunately a lot of these shows that have been developed with heavy Latino cast, they don't seem to succeed. And I think that the most important thing that we can take away is I think we need to support each other at the box office. We need to support each other watching the content and consuming our own content. Not, and it doesn't matter where you're from, if you're Venezuelan, if you're Puerto Rican, if you're from Argentina, really trying to come together as a community in this country, because we're grouped together, so let's all support each other. That's how we start to make a difference, when we put our money, when we actually invest our own money towards promoting each other as well. But yes, it has to come from, what I did at CBS was to try to, especially with certain shows that I covered that were very Caucasian oriented, and the bad guys were usually Black or Latino. My fights every day were like, does the perp have to be Puerto Rican? Can he be white this time? And so those are little battles, but every time we'd win, we'd be like, yes. So little by little, we, putting more people who are from underrepresented groups in those jobs as well. It's not just in front of the camera, it has to be behind the camera.
I'm going to add something real quick. And I heard, this is great. I heard it's a little mix of what actor slash connecting slashers is, and something that I heard Jolene say once. We can change the narrative. If we were, I remember, I think it was a SAG panel online soon, and they were talking about if I have an accent, or why they're always doing this and that. And Jolene brought the example of Jennifer Lopez, I think it was. She doesn't have an accent, she's Latina. We can write our own stories. Actors slash producers slash directors slash writers. Actors who are proactive and they create their own opportunities. They write the stories they want to be on it, right? And Jolene was just saying we've seen her in, that was a great example. Okay, she was born here. I was born in Mexico. I do have an accent. You guys met my gringo husband, and I still have an accent. But I'm still doing it, right? The thing is, you guys can just write something that you don't even have to explain the nationality. You don't even have to write down a character that has to say why she's here. Maybe she's a Latina lawyer, and she does have a freaking accent. And you don't have to change or lie or anything. Just write your own stories. I think change the narrative. That's what she was saying, and I loved it. It's in our hands. And as they were saying, sign up for student films. Believe it or not, many of them make it to the Oscars. And right now they're supporting short films so much. You can we did a short film with cell phones. We've done a lot of things. So guys, seriously, no excuse. So thank you so much. We have to wrap it up. Thank you to my amazing family. Let's have a picture. And now this works. And please sign up for the Consulate events. They have so many. They are fantastic. I invite you to follow actors / you can see the social media. If you took pictures, which I wish you did, please tag us all. I would love to reproduce them and reshare them. And thanks again, please. We're going to have a quick picture, and then you can come. Thank you so much.
Gracias.